So this week we celebrate Purim, and I can't tell you how excited I am for this week's celebration that begins on Sunday with the drive-through Mishloach Manot baskets, with the Purim concert that we're having for our young families with kids in the national parking lot. On Thursday, then, we're going to have an early kids program, and then Megillah reading on Zoom. And it really gives us an opportunity to focus in on the Megillah itself, on the text itself, in a focused way that we don't get when we're standing all in the social hall, enjoying drinks and ice cream and all of the fun of being around one another. So this is a real opportunity. We are going to have surprises and fun commercial breaks in between the chapters of Megillah. We're going to play Masked Singer as a community a little bit. And at the same time, it allows us to focus during the reading on the text itself. And I just wanted to focus today, just for a brief period of time, on how important the tradition thinks that this text is, the text of Megillat Esther. Just to focus on one detail of the instruction of Purim, is that we're supposed to each hear the Megillah twice. Once in the evening, and then once in the morning. So most of us hear the Megillah in the evening, right? And those of us who attend Minyan at 7 o'clock in the morning afterwards, then hear the Megillah in the morning as well. Believe it or not, it's the reading in the evening time that developed much later than the reading in the morning. Meaning to say that the reading that occurs during the costume and revelry and drinking and ice cream, that reading is the new reading. That's the newer element. The older element was for us to hear it in the daytime with complete sobriety, because I'd argue that the text is a very sobering text and needs to really be reflected on and understood while we're reading it aloud. So let's all take a moment and just think about letters in our life that we've read 2 times. What have we received in our life that we've read and then the next day gone back to it and read it again? And I'd argue that whatever it is that you think you've come up with, whether it's a college admission letter, I don't even know if they do letters anymore, who knows, or whether it's, right, some kind of letter from a loved one, or even an email today, whether those things were super positive or super hurtful, if it's going to impact your life, you go back to it after reflecting on it and you want to read it again. In Judaism, there are multiple examples of texts that we read twice. Just here in a list that I made today, we read the Megillah twice. We read Zachor, the Maftir, right, that we're going to read on Shabbat tomorrow morning. We read that twice. The story of Amalek occurs in Deuteronomy and Exodus twice. We read the 10 Commandments twice, once in Exodus, and we read about the giving of the 10 Commandments again in Deuteronomy. We're supposed to read the Shema twice every day. When we read something twice, we're making a statement that these words matter to us. These words matter. And we know the difference because 99% of the emails we receive during the day don't matter, right? That's the emails that we actually take the time to read, that we don't delete right away. Most of the things that we read during the day are of little importance. When we read something twice, we're making a statement that this is meaningful. This isn't arbitrary. This isn't like the box that we click on all during the day, agree to terms on every single website, or I accept cookies, or I'm not a robot. These aren't the mindless things that we read and click. This is something that we're supposed to sit with, and we're supposed to read with intentionality. Because we know that in some way our identity, our past, present, and future, our Jewish existence is informed by this text. This leads to a much larger teaching. But I would argue that outside of the 5 books of Torah, the Megillat Esther is the most impactful, meaningful text we have in the Hebrew Bible. And I will argue in my dissertation that the rabbis understood that really well. And that their rulings and their creation of Purim in this way reflects the esteem for which they held this book. So this year, we're going to have an opportunity in the evening time to read the Megillah together as a community. It'll be up on your screen. We're going to read it. We're going to have different readers reading it on Zoom. Take the time and read along on Thursday evening. And then Friday, at some point, it doesn't have to be at 7 o'clock in the morning, although I think everything is better at 7 o'clock in the morning. Breakfast, golf, Megillah, everything's better at 7 o'clock in the morning. You, at some point on Friday, take 10, 15 minutes out of your day and read it in the daylight. And sit with the text and try to imagine why the rabbis would want us to read this text twice within a 24-hour period of time. And I think the longer you sit with this text, the less funny, the less comedic, the less entertaining Purim becomes, because it's a text that's crafted to get to the heart of the matter of who we are as a people, our experience in the diaspora. It's a call to action on how we shape our future. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Shabbat Zachor Shalom, and early Chag Purim Sameach.